Hi, good afternoon. My name's Joanna Nelson. Thanks so much for joining us. You have tuned in to our Rural Efficient Business Program interview series. It's a mouthful, but this is a program that we are working in partnership with a couple of resource partners as well as the USDA. And our whole mission of this program is to highlight some really great businesses around the state in rural areas that are utilizing the concept of energy efficiency, and they are implementing renewable energy systems. And so we want to hear from them directly. Our hope is that they are able to share best practices with you from around the state, and also you can learn from their wins and their challenges. Also, this is a great opportunity to connect with the resources that we have at the state level, as well as from our partners, with the intention and the hope that you're able to get the information that you need to connect with them and successfully apply them to your businesses. So I don't want to take too much more time. We want to hear from our great guests today, but I did want to introduce our partners. And I'll let Jennifer and Jalal go ahead. And if you want to give a brief introduction of who you are and who you're representing.
Yes.
Thanks, Joanna.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Thanks, Joanna. Happy to be here. Jennifer Senzaba, CEO with the New Mexico Manufacturing Extension Partnership. At the end of the presentation, we'll go through a little bit more information about MEP, but in general, we are a nonprofit entity that works with manufacturers throughout the state.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Jalal?
Yes, thank you, Joanna. My name is Jalal Rastegari. I'm from the New Mexico State University College of Engineering. We have an outreach program, and in our outreach program, we have a few programs that can help the businesses, and one of them is engineering business assistance. And with that program, we have few fundings. One of them is from EPA, and the other one is from EDA. And through those programs, we can help businesses in New Mexico to be more energy efficient and keep the New Mexico environmentally clean. So that's what's our goal. And so I'll talk more about our program at the end. So this is just brief introduction.
Great. Thank you, Jalal. And I think I mentioned, but I'll go ahead and repeat it. I'm with the New Mexico Economic Development Department. My name's Joanna Nelson, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Felicia DePaula. Here's Felicia. And we have some exciting news that Felicia is going to be helping us to manage this program and be connecting businesses to resources around renewable energy and energy efficiency. Felicia, you want to give a brief intro?
Sure. My name is Felicia DePaula, and I came on as part of a recovery team with the New Mexico Economic Department. I came over from the New Mexico Tourism Department, so I have familiarity working in rural communities, which my role will be program development specialist. So I'm very excited and look forward to learning more on these interview specials.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Felicia. We're so excited to have you. She's really going to play point person on our staff for connecting resources to you in rural areas. So really thrilled. I did want to share with everyone that this is meant to be an informal interview. So if you have questions, feel free to type those in as we're going. You might be joining us on Facebook or YouTube. So go ahead and type those questions into the comments, and we'll get those and share those with folks. Also, you'll be able to see this after the live version. So if you need to jump off, no worries. And hopefully we can get you everything that you need, all the contacts later. So without further ado, I want to bring on our great guests. And here they are. I want to introduce to you. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. We can see you now. there. So we've got Tiana Swazo with Red Willow Center, and we've also got Risa Sawyer from the Middle Age Spread. And we are so thrilled that you can join us. They're calling in from up in northern New Mexico, and they mentioned it was really windy. So bear with us if the internet connection is a little spotty. But we're enjoying the view. Where are you guys at right now?
Right now, we're sitting in our main greenhouse at Red Willow Center in Taos Pueblo.
Wonderful. It looks beautiful. Okay, well, if it's okay with you guys, we're going to jump in and kind of, we play tag team and ask you some questions. And I know you've got some exciting stuff to share with us, so we'll go ahead and get started.
Cool.
Great. Well, I know that each of you is representing your own business, but can each of you share what it is that you do and where you're located and give us some background?
Cool. Let my elder go first.
Oh, the elder. I heard that. Hi, I'm Risa Sawyer from the Middle Age Spread. I also serve on the board of the Red Willow Center, and I'm one of the vendors here with organic eggs and goat cheese. I started my business over 20 years ago. I was completely off-grid then, on a property bordering the Pecos Wilderness, and started, saving up for solar panels and just learning how to do a business with no electricity, which was real interesting. No computers, no internet. Go to the library and read about soap making, and I did a couple years of experimenting and developed my own recipes for the soap that I've been selling all these years now. And my focus has always been on very clean ingredients, sustainable ingredients. I grow my own herbs. I raise the goats and the bees for the goat milk and honey and beeswax in my products. And I try to keep all my business with companies that have the same idea of recycling, reusing, avoiding petrochemicals, palm oil, chemical fragrances, plastics. I don't use any plastic in my products for packaging. Cool. Yeah, my little.
Thank you. Great.
Keep going, but she's got stuff too to share.
Cool. Well, hello everyone. My name's Tiana Swazo. I'm from Taos and Jemez Pueblos, but I am living and working here in Taos. I am the executive director of Red Willow Center. We are a 501c3 nonprofit located on Taos Pueblo. I would say we have three main pillars to our center, which are all interdependent. We have our farm, which sits on 1.5 acres of outdoor growing space, as well as 3 greenhouses, 2 which are heated by a district heating system, which we could get into later. The farmers market, which is basically run year-round because of our 2 heated greenhouses. Right now with the pandemic, we're just serving the Taos Pueblo community because our community borders are kind of shut off. And lastly, we have our youth internship programs where we teach Indigenous youth basically how to farm and everything around that, how to prepare your produce for market, how to create value-added products, how to really utilize the land and our traditional agricultural knowledge combined with modern technologies and how to extend your season. So yeah, that's what we do. Primarily, we run off of a solar grid, and I don't know the dimensions of it right now, but that works our well water pump, as well as just some of the appliances that we have here. We are currently looking into possibly installing a mini microgrid to just further expand our operations. So yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. You guys have an incredible amount of things going on. So thanks so much for your time today and for joining us. Can you both give us an idea of your size, the size of the operation you're running? Do you have employees?
Oh, me? So the middle-aged spread is me and my partner, Richard Aspenwind. And I met him about 5 years ago and sold my farm in Mora and moved up here to Taos Pueblo. We've got about 20 acres. The goats, chickens, guineas, honeybees. So Richard and I do everything. We're kind of it. And sometimes I think about hiring help, but I have that, oh, what would you call it? A little neurosis that nobody can do it as good as me. So I'm terrible that way. It's like I really like being elbow deep in all my products, and I really do enjoy doing it myself. And we're in the process of building hugelkultur beds and doing some roof repairs. We have a complete solar setup to get up on the roof as soon as the roof repairs are done. Composting toilet. We're going to be putting together a gray water system. And it all, just to tell people, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time when you create all these visions of how you want to live and the systems you want to use to live. It takes a lot of time to get them in place, because I know a lot of people, I talk to them, they get frustrated when they're first starting a farm or a business, and I like to tell them, go slow.
Best advice.
Just go slow. Focus on one thing at a time, get the money for that, and then move on to the next. But maybe someday I'll have employees.
She always has us too at the farm.
Yeah, I hit them up for help occasionally.
We're like, please, Risa, call us, and
like
we will
all
be
those
there to help
potatoes
you.
we still have to harvest from last fall when I hurt my long story.
Yeah. So at Red Willow Center, we have currently 7 employees, 3 interns, 3 kind of like high-level interns, mostly high school or young adults, and then part of our youth internship programs, we have, I think now 7 students, all from the Pueblo, ranging from ages 14 to 18. But yeah, part of my staff, I have 3 youth education coordinators, which manage our youth programs, create the curriculum, all of that. I have a farm manager who helps maintain all of the greenhouses and is making plans for outdoor growing space. I have a fiscal steward, or also like a grant manager. And then I have a general consultant working with me who is amazing, who's really just doing a lot of the training and development for my staff, as well as HR. And then there's me.
And Tiana does everything.
Just directing.
She never sleeps.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. I think that provides us with a good understanding of the operation that you're running. So thank you for that. I'll pass it on to Jennifer.
Thank you both for that great introduction. It's so wonderful to hear everything that's going on and everything that you're doing. And obviously you're having fun while you do it. That's what it seems like. So that's so good to hear too. Even through all the struggles, it's worth it, right?
Oh yeah.
It's been interesting.
Helping the people is what is the greatest joy, especially the kids.
Yes, I can imagine. And so you said, add them up for me. How many student interns, Tiana?
7 high school,
7.
and then 3. Well, actually, now one of my 3 is part of the 7.
Okay.
So I have 2 other high-level interns. One who is going to be 21 this year, and another who is 34.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, thank you for everything that you all do. So let's see. Joanna kind of did the introduction there. Can you tell us a little bit about just your journey with renewables, with solar and everything that you have going on?
Sure. Do you want to go first? Or?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I first started this business when I was living way out in the Pecos wilderness. Did everything by hand and by kerosene lamp, and slowly scrimped and saved. Got like one solar panel, and I could run light bulbs. That was amazing, and a radio. Slowly built up. Got a well put in with solar well pump. Running water was just such a blessing after a year or two without. And slowly, experimented with all my products. Took about 2 years to develop my soap recipe. Started selling at farmers markets, craft shows. Slowly over time, we bought more and more panels, and got to the point we were fairly comfortable up there. Then I did move to Mora. Had 6.5 acres up there in Buena Vista in the Mora Valley, and moved all our solar, converted the well there to solar. Even on grid, I believe in backup. I think, as everyone in Texas just experienced, you can't really depend on outside systems that well. So I've always lived with the philosophy of, can I take care of myself? Can I provide my own water, my own light? Any of those things that we need to be at least safe, if not comfortable. And the older I get, I really do like being more comfortable. So I'm real excited to be getting the solar up on our house here at Taos Pueblo, and we'll be converting that over. And it feels so much better to utilize renewables, because when you turn that light on, you're not burning coal, you're not using nuclear, and it just gives a quality to your life that you feel like, wow, I'm not contributing to the pollution. I'm not contributing to the oil fields. I highly recommend it for everyone.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Yes, Tiana.
Well, just like hearing Risa and then just thinking about my past of growing up, I actually lived off grid and didn't know it was called living off grid for a very long time.
I've done it for 1,000 years.
Yeah. Growing up, my family and I actually lived in the village of Taos Pueblo, where there's no running water, no electricity, and there's no intention of putting electricity in the old village, really just to maintain it and maintain the structures. So I lived like that for a very long time. And after a few years, we moved out of our village house into my grandparents' home, which was maybe about 50 yards away from the old village. So there was electricity, but still no running water. And just going throughout high school and learning a lot more about renewable energy systems, I'm like, why do we not have solar on the Pueblo? Especially for farmers or, just people living closer to the old village, because there's not a lot of power lines or even any water lines going through there. So it just kind of got like the wheels turning about it. And I would say my experience started, or like I really became interested in renewable energy in and out of college. It's really great here in Taos. Actually, there is a partnership with UNM and I believe Cornerstones of Santa Fe, and they're working together to get renewable energy courses for free to a lot of students here in Taos. So that's kind of how I really started my education about renewable energies. And it's really just adding to this dream I have outside of Red Willow Center too, to create my own kind of market garden internship that just runs off of renewable energy. And working here at Red Willow Center, they have their own solar system, which I think works directly with the water pump in their well, and yeah, just energizes all of the water systems that we have here. Uh, but yeah, I am still working on getting my family into renewable energies, and actually the entire Pueblo. Growing up, as I was asking questions of like, why don't we have more renewable energy sources? It seems perfect for an indigenous community. I had come to find out that a lot of our elders or older people in the community just really weren't aware of how solar had worked, or really any other renewable energy systems. And because they thought that solar just takes from the sun, it was really considered taboo. And so part of what the work that I'm trying to do, along with just different individuals in the community, is really educate our people on how solar systems work. And so now throughout the years, I'm seeing that taboo is breaking, and there's a lot more people really getting interested in renewable energy. And I'm kind of seeing it pop up in little pockets around our community, like being used for our like veterans memorial that we have in the Pueblo. And throughout my research, I'm finding that there's few individuals in the community that actually have been running off solar since the 80s. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. We need to like really make this happen. And I think it's not only beneficial to those living in or outside of the old village, but really for our farmers too. Working at Red Willow Center, I really became aware of the short growing season that we have here in New Mexico. And so how can we extend our season besides using greenhouses and row cover? I believe renewable energy can really come in and help with season extension, as far as getting an early start on the spring or extending your season well into the fall. So yeah, I am really interested in Red Willow kind of being that model organization of using renewable energy systems and showing the community how beneficial it can be, not only to your household, but to your farms and gardens as well.
That's such a great story. And both of you really show that by pursuing your passion, you can incite change, right? For the better within your community. So that's fantastic. And so let's see, Tiana, tell me a little bit about extending the season. Will that add certain crops and certain, does extending the season just give you more of what you have now, or will you be able to add other varieties and other types of crops if you can accomplish that?
Yeah, I would say both. A lot of the seed varieties that we have in Taos Pueblo are used to the short growing season, and that's primarily our corn, beans, and squash. And so I feel like adding renewable energy systems coupled with like greenhouses or row cover, we could get an early start to the season, like just starting our starts pretty early on, especially for the long kind of crops like say leeks or eggplants or something. And because that's super hard to grow here because of the short growing season. So I feel it could be beneficial in that way, as far as bringing in these new varieties of crops that we don't normally grow here, and then just expanding our operations and how much we can grow. So yeah. I hope that answered it all. Kind of got lost in it. These questions are really exciting.
I know, right? And that's what we're aiming for, though, is just that excitement to spill over. So great answers. I will turn it over to Jalal to ask a few questions.
Yes, cool. Thank you so much. You guys are doing great. I love what you do. And Lisa, you have done some waste minimization and reduction. Can you tell us about how did you save energy and water? What do you do to save energy and water?
Oh, So right now, as well as working on getting our solar panels up, everything has been, I've switched everything over to LED lights. I had the first compact fluorescents when they came out years ago. And now they're sort of passe. Now it's LED, so we've switched over to LED. I utilize composting toilet for the last 25 years, which saves, I should know that number, but it saves,
Tons.
I don't know how many thousands of gallons every year by not flushing, and you get absolutely gorgeous compost out of it, which is wonderful, to put under your fruit trees and perennials and such. Yeah, we have water saving shower heads right now, wood cook stove. Just bought a beautiful refurbished wood cook stove. It's about 100 years old, but it was completely restored. So we've got that hooked up. So then we'll be cooking on wood instead of propane. Our water is all heated with a Bosch Aquastar on-demand water heater. I've used those for decades. I absolutely love them because you don't have a tank. It's a tankless system. So you don't have a tank that's being heated 24/7 so that you have hot water ready to go. It only comes on when you turn the faucet and need hot water, and then it shuts off, and that saves so much in fossil fuels. For if everyone switched to that, gosh, it would be wonderful. I keep encouraging everyone, slowly but surely, bit by bit, you get everyone to get a new water heater, change a light bulb, and eventually it'll make a difference.
Yeah. So Tiana, same question for you. What do you do to save energy and water?
Well, I still live in my village house that doesn't have running water, so that's nice. I get directly from the river sometimes, and it's nice here at Red Willow Center. We actually have a water pump that the community is welcome to use because there's a lot of families that still don't have running water within their homes. So using the water pump is really helpful because you have a set amount of water that you can use within your home. So you're really monitoring your water usage as far as that. As far as saving energy, it's basic things, like turning off the lights when you're done and plugging all the appliances that you're not using. Even with water, I try not to shower every 2 days or something. I'm really trying to stretch it out. And really trying to end the stigma around constantly using water like that. When I was growing up, if not showering for a couple of days, people kind of looked at you funny, and you're like, no, I'm actually saving the earth right now.
Yeah.
And I think there just needs to be a lot of stigma that needs to end around energy consumption. It's so weird in this day and age. People look at you weird if you're not having all these appliances that you're using and all of these things and electronics or whatever. So yeah, part of that is just being more open with discussion around saving energy and how it's done in people's own ways of how they do that. But as far as the farming side of trying to save energy and water, I'm just thankful that I live in New Mexico where there's abundant sun, forever.
Yeah. That's not a problem.
And even the really drying climates and whatnot, I don't have to use a dehydrator constantly. I'm okay, we'll just hang it outside, and a day it's all dried, and you have your stored food for that. We also at Red Willow Farm and in my personal garden, I'm really trying to bring back a lot of traditional farming methods, like waffle gardening, which basically it looks like how it sounds. It's just this little waffle that collects rainwater when it comes. I'm really trying to implement rock grid gardens in my home and at Red Willow Center. And so basically, and people may read this when researching indigenous agriculture, but our people here at Taos Pueblo really utilize the land and the landscape of it. So we used a lot of gravity too. And it's really just seeing where the water flowed in different areas where you wanted to garden. And with that, I'm seeing where the water flowed, a lot of our people will put rocks, like huge rocks or a lot of like tiny rocks, and made like these kind of grid gardens where the water could go and collect and create mineral deposits that held more water too. So there was a lot of water staying within those rocks, and it transferred the water around in these grid gardens and maintained a really good temperature and a lot of water retention within those rock grid gardens. So just trying to draw on indigenous knowledge and really just looking at the land. I feel like just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of your climate, being aware of the land and the water and where it sits, and just being in tune to nature. I feel that's really one way to save energy and save water, because once you really have an appreciation for it and you know that you're connected to the land and water that you have, you're going to do everything you can to like maintain it and preserve it and save it.
Perfect. Thank you. Jennifer, do you have some more questions?
Let's see if I can find the mute button here. So we've heard all the good. What are some of the challenges that maybe you both encountered along the way here, or even new areas that we need to look at new technologies or something? How do we make it better, easier to implement as well?
And I think the big one is money.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
I have this conversation with people so many times. I say, well, I can't afford solar. And I said, well, I couldn't either. But, we bought one panel at a time. We found them at yard sales. We looked at, the Thrifty Nickel and later Craigslist. Sometimes you don't go on vacation so that you can buy an inverter so that you can hook up your 110 things to the solar panels. So money's a big one. Money really puts a lot of people off trying to live in a new way, because there are tools you need. There are things you need to do. So money is one, and it's a very different way of living. Like Tiana said, people think, what, you don't shower every day? I know people that shower 3 times a day, and I'm just appalled. To me, it's like, how can you use that much water? And it's a lot of work. It can physically be a lot of work. You have to really change your way of thinking, and I think getting past people's preconceived notions of how we're supposed to live is one of the biggest obstacles. Because, like, when you bring up composting toilets in a conversation, wow, you get some strange feedback, and people saying gross, that's disgusting, and it really isn't. It's just dealing with our waste, which is it makes you a lot more cognizant of our own body waste, our home waste, how much trash we produce, what are we not recycling. I think money and attitudes are probably the 2 biggest obstacles for people in changing how they want to live.
Just reiterating what Lisa said, money for sure is the biggest thing.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you like saving up for panels, saving up for batteries, the inverter, all of that stuff. I wish our local governments, or there would be more organizations, and that's what I strive to reach as Red Willow Center, to possibly help offset a lot of these costs, or find resources where there's like low prices for a lot of these things. But yeah, cost is huge. There's a lot of us who are, in the eyes of the government and IRS and really the world, we're living in poverty, so we don't have that extra money to be able to buy these things, although it would be great. Personally, like, I'm trying to just save as much as I could to invest in something that I know will last me a long time and I don't have to pay an energy bill. But with the economy that we're in today, it's making that super difficult. And the government thinking that, our people only need just like $1,400 to live. That's ridiculous. I'm like, come on, like, come back to earth, world leaders, like US leaders, like, get with it. Actually come and visit these communities and see what it's like to live off of just $1,400. So no, it can't happen. But anyway, I would, besides the money, like Lisa said, people's perspectives and attitudes, especially with indigenous cultures, there's the whole like taboo part of it. And it's like explaining to people how it really works. And just like pulling people out of their comfort zones of like having this very convenient life of like being tied to the grid and having access to like all of this water, which you're wasting and isn't being used properly even after you use it to shower or wash dishes or something. And yeah, gosh, I have a whole list and it is kind of blanked out. But I would also say, attitudes, money, just the stigmatization.
Getting a little older, the back's not quite cooperating.
Yeah.
We have a lot of older people here in the community that were, dedicated farmers their whole lives. Now they can't physically. And as I'm approaching 60, I'm starting to, I can't lift like I used to. So that's another thing. We want to start getting help to the older people that physically can't do what they used to do, and help them to do it again in whatever capacity, maybe with raised beds, so that they don't have to bend down to the ground and not be able to get up.
I would add too,
which is true.
One of the biggest challenges are oil companies. Big major industrial, just industries really that make billions of dollars off of water and electricity and all this stuff. They really make it difficult for people to really want to live off grid. I'll just leave it at that because I feel like big industries, including oil, is self-explanatory.
Yeah, they have a pretty good media program to convince people that alternative energy doesn't work. And people are convinced of it. They're like, it can't work. It's like there are solar panels out in space since the 1960s that are still operational. In fact, the oil companies, the oil and gas fields that are out in isolated areas like on the Navajo Res, they use solar to maintain their oil and gas fields. And yet they're busy buying ads telling people, oh no, solar's never going to work. So I would love someone to do a survey and see like what happened in how many people went out and got solar panels after that. How many didn't? Once the lights come back on, us humans, we have a very short memory about we go through a hardship and we go, oh, I'm never going through that again. But the lights come back on, the TV's back on, there's stuff on the shelves at the store again. So we go, oh, okay, we're fine. Yeah. I don't have to go through all that work and investment to live differently because, we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
Me too.
And climate change deniers aren't helpful either.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
people who don't believe that the climate is changing and all this stuff. Yeah, it's a lot. There's so many reasons.
And I'm going to stop you all too because you've raised such great points. Really fascinating to hear your perspective. And thanks for sharing that, because I have so many questions, but I'm looking at time too. I know you wanted to show us some stuff, but one of the points that you raised, I wanted to reflect upon, was you mentioned changing attitudes and around energy consumption, and it's almost this idea of how you do business, because it's one thing to talk about a composting toilet to a friend, but it's another to, as a business owner, look at your model and look at how you could do things to save money and make more profit. And how can you apply some of those perspectives that you've shared around changing the way that people could look at doing business? So maybe they're not making as much profit, but maybe there's a benefit to the community or to the resources around the business. So can you offer any advice for business owners that are looking into, how can I make a bigger impact in my community? How can I conserve resources or be more efficient? Can you, maybe even just the small hanging fruits, can you share some insight for someone maybe starting off along this journey?
I think, well, what I did was, I said, my business has to reflect my values, and I put those values, into blog posts. I think it comes down to teaching without lecturing. And when people see that you're doing it and you're sharing how you do it, they start to, because I hear from a lot of my customers, water now because you talked about it. I'm looking into seed saving, solar panels. I just, do it in a friendly way. I could probably, truthfully, with my business, I don't really look at my profits. I got into this because I wanted to make products that heal, not that sell, or sell a lot, or become a Fortune 500 company, or I'm a terrible business person, and yet I've been living off my business for over 20 years, so I guess I'm doing okay. Because I'm just sticking to my values, and I think once you do that, things will fall into place, and people will see that you're walking your talk. For that old saying, because when you have people that are packaging stuff in plastic, or they're using palm oil or GMO oils in their products, and yet they're talking about saving the earth, it's like, well, there's kind of a schism there, because what you're selling is not saving energy, it's not sustainable, but you're trying to sell it using those words. So my advice is just live your vision, live your values, make that part of your business, and don't necessarily listen to small business development and those, because for me, that was not something I could use, because they were more about how much are you making, how much more can you grow, and I prefer to have quality, not growth necessarily. So that's me. So that's my advice, is just live your value.
That's awesome.
I love that. Thank you so much. Can you share, Tiana? Would you like to add
on? Man, it's just kind of like ditto Teresa.
Yes, my young Jedi.
I think for small business owners, values-based, being really values-based now, knowing how you want to run your business, how you want to help the earth too, and being sustainable and running off the grid really is so in vogue nowadays. If people know that you're running your business sustainably and that you're really thinking of the environment and you're walking the talk, as Risa said, you're going to get your own following of people who really want to invest in your business, because there's so many people nowadays, including myself, who are looking to support businesses that are sustainable in that way. So yeah, I'd say just go for it. Believe in yourself, believe in your mission, believe in your product or your service that you're offering, and just network as much as you can, because we forget, I feel, all of the hidden gems within our community that can really help us connect the dots with renewable energy. And just stick to your mission, network, believe in yourself, help the earth.
Find those
Wonderful. Thank
wonderful
you.
customers who get it. You know?
Right. Well, and I think those are such great points. And the interesting thing and what we're trying to raise awareness on is there are resources that can help you look at why it makes sense to utilize renewable energy, or look at cost accounting where you're seeing where the majority of your energy is going into, and ways that you can save money, and at the same time helping the earth and having a sustainable practice in your community. So thank you so much. It's so fascinating to hear the different perspectives of however way you get to that point, to have that realization, and fantastic knowledge that you're sharing. Thank you so much. I'm looking at the time, and I know we have so many more questions, and I'm seeing a few questions that came in on Facebook and YouTube. But I'd like to wrap up this portion, and because you all mentioned that you are inviting us to see a little bit of your operation, is that still okay?
We're running off of our phone Wi-Fi right now, so please bear with us.
Okay.
It may get spotty, but just wanted to show you I think we could do it even from here, but this is our little vegetable washing station. And so to help just save some of the water that we have or use from our veggie washing station, oh my gosh, in the summer, we're going to use about tons of gallons of water, really, to wash all of our produce and get ready for market. And so what we had done is we got a lot of PVC piping, and we hooked it up to our sinks, and outside of our greenhouse, which I'll show you here in a minute, we have a couple of fruit trees outside. So we got these PVC pipes to connect to some buckets that are underground that give water to our trees there. As we get more into food safety on our farm, we found that using gray water to feed like leafy greens or vegetables you're going to eat right away isn't the best thing, because you have to wait for a certain amount of time and use clean water on those vegetables to be able to use them. And so we found that using vegetable gray water is best in watering your trees. So that's what we had done, is just hook up our sinks to be able to push all the water outside to our fruit trees. And so we're looking into implementing more systems like that. With whatever water we use will go back into the earth or to some fruit trees or something that needs to be cooked before you eat it. Yeah. And so I can show you that right now. And then afterwards, we'll go to our solar grid outside, which fuels our water pump. And I can show you a little bit of the GARN, or the district heating unit that we have, which is all wood powered. It's a 4x7 wood furnace. It's surrounded by water and propylene glycol, and it has tubes and piping that go underground into 2 of our greenhouses. And so they heat the earth up, and they also pump hot air into the greenhouses. So in the winter, when we're like at freezing temperatures, we're able to maintain a really good stable temp in here for our plants. So let me...
And I want to say a shout out to Doodlets, who introduced us. The most wonderful store in Santa Fe.
Business in Santa Fe.
This is all because of Doodlets that we all got together today.
Oh, wonderful.
They're wonderful people.
Cool. Well, we're at that portion, Tiana, so yeah, go for it.
Cool. And we also have a YouTube channel under Red Willow Center, and you can see how we had done our gray water system there. So that's sort of how it looks. Some piping under there. Go outside into the snow. I mean, the snow, the wind. And so here is the side of our greenhouse where our washing station is, and then here are some of our fruit trees that it goes to. So let me walk you back. You can look at our farm.
Uh-oh.
Our green.
We might have lost you a little bit, Tiana. I will take a second to mention that someone on YouTube has mentioned that they're interested in connecting to more resources around saving energy and water, and so that's the whole purpose of this series, is to hopefully connect business owners to resources. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us directly, and we'll be talking about that a little bit more. I think we might have, oh, there we go, Tiana. We lost the video for a second. Can you hear us, Tiana? It was a valiant attempt to try going out in the wind today and still keep internet service. I think we just lost them completely, unfortunately. So this is part of the fun too about interviewing businesses in rural locations where and addressing issues around Wi-Fi can be problematic. So let's go ahead and jump into the portion of our series where we highlight the resources specifically that our partners have, and that is MEP and NMSU. Oh, there she is back on, actually. Let's bring Tiana. Thanks for bearing with us. There we go.
Sorry,
we can see you now. Oh, no problem.
Cool. Well, we weren't able to show you the solar panel, but let me show you our garden unit. So this is it here. We had a fire going this morning, and so it's just this big wood furnace that allows us to heat up our greenhouses. But we're hoping to use, transfer this system to a mini microgrid, because we don't want to keep cutting down trees and using massive amounts of wood for this. We'd rather use renewable energy. So that's why we're looking into a mini microgrid.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think we're going to go ahead, for time's sake. I wish we could keep talking to you for another hour and asking you questions, because all the information you're sharing is so insightful. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Is there anything that you want to part us with and share before closing out?
Renewable energy saves lives, saves the earth. So use it.
Ditto.
Yeah. And if anyone has any questions for myself or Risa, I put my email in the private chat. So feel free to share that. And I believe you may have Risa's email.
Yeah. And on my website, www.themiddleagedspread.com. You can see all my products.
Thank you so much, ladies. This was so informative and exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
That
us.
was fun.
Thank you. And I just put your website up, Risa. What is your website, Tiana, where they can find you?
I believe it's redwillow.org. Sorry. If you look on the email that was sent out about this talk from the EDD website, they have the hyperlink in there for Red Willow Center. So feel free to click on that and it'll take you right to our website.
Okay. All right.
And
Thank you.
after
Thank
all
you.
this is over, y'all can come up when we reopen after the
Yeah.
I'll
holiday.
pick up on that.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you. And
Cool.
thanks for all you're doing. Thank you so much. Great
Thank
hearing from you.
you.
Okay. Thank you all for staying with us and hearing that great interview. We've got about 7 minutes. So I'm really going to quickly pull up this presentation, hopefully, if I can do that seamlessly. and share some information from MEP and NMSU. So bear with me a second. Hopefully I can do this. And I think Jalal is first up. So hopefully, yeah, there we go. Okay, can you see your slides, Jalal?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do a quick version.
Sure. So this is my contact information. Please feel free to call me, email me, go to our website and request the assessment. Next slide, please. So we have two programs from EPA. One is called pollution prevention, which is basically, we talked a lot about it today, is reduce and reuse and recycle. The last thing that we want to do is dispose it, but sometimes it's inevitable, so we need to dispose some of but we try to minimize it. We go to businesses, look at their production, look to see what they are using, if they have chemicals, how they can reduce and minimize their waste. So that's one program that we are working with. Next, please. So our other program is called E3, Energy Economy Environment. And we are looking at the energy conservation and how people can reduce their energy by conserving more energy. Energy efficiency is totally different. Is if you are using LEDs, that's energy efficiency. You are getting the same amount of work, but still you are getting less energy usage. We are looking at the businesses and see if they are needing solar energy. We go look at their, how much energy they are using, what's the best amount of microgrid they can adopt to, and we look at their future, if they want to expand, if they want to stay the same. So that's another thing that we are looking for. Next, please. So our main sectors, almost everything, but food and beverages are at our top of list, and we are looking for breweries and wineries, but we can do any other businesses. So we have different kinds of funding. Please feel free to contact me if you need any help with those. Next, please. And this is a brief summary of what we have done in the last 5 years. Businesses saved about $9 million, about 6.27 million pounds of hazardous waste, and 65,000 gallons of water, and 5.81 metric tons of greenhouse gases, and about 19 million kilowatt per hours of energy. So that's basically what we do, and please feel free to contact me if you need any help.
Thank you, Jalal. Thank you to Joanna and to our guests today. This was another amazing interview in the books here. I will go very quickly through this, but this is the most important slide. This is our website and contact information for myself, and I can get you the right person on our team if need be. So any questions, go ahead and feel free to ping us there. Next slide. As I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast here, our mission is simply to grow New Mexico manufacturing. And so we have a team of manufacturing and engineering experts that we can make available to manufacturers. Manufacturers do not have to be your typical smokestack, big production type of industry businesses. In fact, most of the companies we work with have less than 10 employees and are working anything with a process, pretty much we can help with. So we can help with process optimization, we can help scale up, we can help bring lean methodologies to your floor to help reduce your not only your energy use, but your labor usage, your utilization of your workforce, and help to create capacity within your organization. Next slide. We also work to expand awareness, kind of create awareness about the manufacturing community, what's made in New Mexico by New Mexicans. One way we do this is October is National Manufacturing Month, and so we try to highlight and do tours when it's COVID safe through our manufacturers in the state, so you can learn what's made right here in New Mexico. Next slide. We are part of a national system through, there is an MEP in every state in some way, shape, or form through the National Institutes of Standards and Technology and the Department of Commerce. So we have a wide reach. If we don't have the answer here, we will find it for you at one of our other sister centers. Next slide. And that's the end. Joanna, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer and Jalal. I hope the point is made today that there are resources out there for you. If you have any inkling or desire to learn more about how your business can become more efficient or look at ways that you can implement renewable energy systems, the point is there are people ready to go and more than willing to help you. So that's the key takeaway from all of this and our effort and what we're trying to do. I did want to share our website, which is nmruralbiz.com, and we're hoping to make this a hub where you can go and connect with resources that can aid you in this journey. And so right now it's about version 1.0, but you can find resources, a little bit of resources, as well as the past interviews that we have done. And thanks to Felicia DePaula that was introduced at the beginning of the segment, she is on board and will be a great person to help us be able to build upon this website and get more information out to you. So look to this website for some exciting things coming down the pipe. And not going to go into depth with these, but these are some of our great partners that can help you with financing. It's mentioned that unfortunately capital continues to be a big barrier for folks that are looking to implement changes to their business model or look at renewable energy systems. So there are ways and there are programs that are out there that can assist you. And the good news is that this current administration, state and federal included, are supportive of these initiatives. And so some exciting things are also coming. So we can help you connect with any of these resources if you're interested in accessing capital. Some of the actions to stay up to date with our department are listed here. One of the biggies that we pretty much started at the beginning of the pandemic was in March. I think we started this weekly wrap up in March because, as I think it was Tiana mentioned, that one of the issues is whether there's stigmas or whether it's just a lack of awareness around programs and resources that is through and through the entire state. And so our hope is that we can put out a wrap up of all of these resources that we're finding, not only local, state level, but also nationally. We can compile all of it for you in one place and send this out. And so you get it directly to your email. And right now we're putting these out on Mondays. And this is about a year that we're wrapping up and have had nothing but great feedback. And we're putting millions of dollars in opportunities out there. We're also listing webinars. We're listing relevant news articles. It's a great place to just check once a week and see if there's anything that's relevant to your business. There's around clean energy and energy efficiency. Also, finance fairs. This is something that has come online since the pandemic, but this is a place where we're going to the regions, different regions throughout the state, and we're bringing all of the people with money together in one place. So if you have business projects or you're curious about starting a business, this is a fantastic place to go and meet with people either in person, eventually, hopefully, or virtually. So stay tuned for that. That program is only expanding and getting better. And then also connecting with your local EDOs, your local community organizations is always a great first step too. Tiana and Risa mentioned this as well. And then connect with your economic development department regional reps. We have reps located throughout the state. If you don't know who that person is, click this link and you can connect with them and contact them directly. here's my contact, and I apologize. I haven't even updated Felicia's contact, but as I mentioned, Felicia DePaula is going to be helping to take this project and this program on and connect you all with the resources that you need. So don't hesitate to reach out, whether me, Felicia, connect to our website, follow us on Twitter, all great places to hear what's going on and resources that are available. So let me go back to this screen. And again, anything you want to close with, Jalal, Jennifer, Felicia, before we sign off?
Thank you. This was great. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward for the next one.
Absolutely, same sentiment. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And if we can do anything, please reach out. I know that that was a lot of information in a short amount of time, but I promise anyone on this webinar here will get you to the right location. Just reach out.
This was a great first interview series that I got to be a part of. I am so excited. I have so many thoughts going on right now. So thank you for letting me be a part of this. And I am looking forward to being a bigger part of it.
Wonderful. Thank you all again. Always much gratitude to Jalal and Jennifer for all the work that they're doing. And thank you so much to Risa and to Tiana. That was fantastic being able to see an insight into their operation and all the amazing things that they're doing up there. I really learned a lot. So thank you all. Stay tuned. We'll send an update on the next company, and that'll be happening in March. Don't hesitate to reach out and let us play connector for you. Let us help you navigate all the resources that are out there around this topic. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you all.
Bye all.
Bye.